Howdy, Cakes.
This is Spirit. Helps raise money for my daughter's dive team at Magruder High School.
Magruder High School.
The diving and swimming colonels of Magruder High School. So, yeah, of course, if I can get a brand new Under Armour hoodie and some sweatpants, sure, I'll spend a few shekels.
Colonel is exactly why the English language makes no sense.
Yes, correct.
Because it is pronounced colonel. But if you are from another country and you're learning the English language here in America and you learn how to pronounce things, you would look at that word and you'd say colonel.
Absolutely. Or you might confuse it with colonial. You might just botch it.
How is it the colonels?
I don't know. I can't explain that.
How did colonel become colonel?
Not sure. Couldn't tell you.
Just one of those things. Both my parents from outside the country.
Yes.
My father, of course, passed away 10 years ago. My mom still pronounces certain words the way they look.
Right.
And I have to correct her, even though it often makes no sense.
I believe you've brought this up. One of them is definitely, she mispronounces Tim Salmon.
Yes, she says Salmon.
Yes.
The other one, which gets me, is, and I grew up saying this because I learned from my parents.
Right.
And everybody here, when you open a drawer, you say drawer.
Yes.
Instead of a drawer.
You used to say drawer.
Not quite that bad.
Right.
But I think she says drawers or something.
Right.
I can't even duplicate it.
It's a hurting that word anyway. Drawers. It's a dumb word.
Okay, but if you have a cabinet and you have a bunch of drawers, what are they?
They're drawers.
Is there an alternate word?
Probably not.
I mean, sometimes you have a shelf.
Right.
But usually the things you pull out, they're drawers.
Correct.
So certain words like that.
English can be very confusing.
And colonel is one of those.
It is, yes.
Where I think it took me years to figure out that that's a colonel, not a colonel.
Right.
Because I wasn't that familiar, too. With the chain of command, anyway, in the military.
How would you know? I'm sure I know.
I think both of our parents were in the military, and neither of them really talked about it that much.
Yeah, my pops was in the Navy. Definitely had a near-death experience when his plane lost power and started plummeting toward the ocean. But luckily, they restored it.
Yeah,
all's well.
My father was in the Army many, many years ago before I was born. And GI Bill, that's how I ended up going to Hopkins, where I ultimately got a graduate degree from Johns Hopkins. But never really talked about it that much.
Yeah.
He's got a photo album with all his pictures from back in the day when he was serving in Europe.
Yeah.
And I think he served in Fort Knox.
Really? There's no chance that AWadd knows where Fort Knox is located. AWadd, I'll give you a free $1 if you can tell me in which state is Fort Knox located. And as a follow-up, why is Fort Knox famous?
Can I, ask you for the coastline that it's on?
Sure. None.
Oof. All right.
Now you're really boned. Now you have zero chance of getting it.
Fort Knox is in Chicago.
First of all, that's not a state. So why don't you guess again?
All right. Is Fort Knox? It's in the middle of the country, obviously.
Just go with your gut. Go with something.
South Dakota.
It's not South Dakota. It is Kentucky, my friend.
What is it known for?
Yeah, what's Fort Knox known for?
It's in Kentucky, so Abe Lincoln definitely stayed there, maybe.
Why would Abe Lincoln stay there?
This is going to be my favorite segment of the show. The show cannot get any better than it's getting right now. This is definitely making the best of hour on the podcast.
Adam Epstein.
You think it isn't? You're crazy.
Where is Abraham Lincoln from?
He's from Illinois, and then I believe he stayed in Kentucky at some point.
See, that I don't know. Maybe he did at some point, but I don't know if he stayed at Fort Knox.
Where was his log cabin? Was that in Illinois then?
Again, we're going down the why are we going down the Abe Lincoln wormhole?
Because this is what he does when he shows his ignorance.
Yeah.
He tries to deflect by veering the car into different lanes.
He's leaving a trail of breadcrumbs in a different area, and he wants us to walk down the path.
Fort Knox is in Kentucky. It's known for gold.
Yeah, I would have had no idea.
If not,
I thought gold was in 49 land, California.
49 land.
He's the biggest idiot there is.
Now, I could be wrong. I don't know 100%. I think one of the biggest, if not the biggest stash of the U.S. gold reserve is protected at Fort Knox in Kentucky.
Okay.
That you're welcome. You're a little bit smarter than you were 90 seconds
So we
ago.
still protect gold to this day, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a pretty valuable. It's a pretty valuable resource.
What is the status of the lie detector test? I know we talk about this from time to time. EB in particular wants the second round of the lie detector test. I just want to have him admit that he didn't have a perfect SAT score at any point. I don't care if it was a pre. I don't care if it was a quiz.
I know you want him to admit it.
Impossible.
He just admitted it. He just admitted it. I mean, every time he cracks the mic, he admits it. I mean, from whatever comes out of his mouth.
It's going to be in January.
Okay.